Hey guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and everything else, right? So here's a follow-up video on the bare essentials for Warframe. The reason I'm doing a follow-up is because I missed a couple of things and it was pointed out in the comments, and I do want to actually address these, right? The important parts are going to be addressed now. So let's and I also had a couple brought up by a friend. Okay. So I have Varuna. She's one of the newer frames. And this entire build was designed with the idea of you probably either have or should have these parts, these mods, whatever. And these are the essentials, right? These are the mods that you absolutely can find a use in just about any situation, in just about any frame. That doesn't mean always use all of these. I highly recommend you learn how to build things with mods. However, this is for completely new people, okay? We'll start with the frame. So you should obtain these relatively easily because I didn't go after all of these, right? I didn't actually hunt down most of these mods. I either somehow obtained them or a friend gave them to me for one reason or another. Ask for help, by the way. The community is very helpful in terms of player base for the more common mods like redirection, intensify, all those. I don't know if you can find like intensify, streamline, and flow exactly, but we'll get on that, right? Now, the reason these mods are important. Okay, so I've already talked about vitality, which is health, steel fiber, which is armor, and redirection, which is shield capacity. There's also one for shield regen. Let me find it real quick because it is kind of important. Fast deflection. That's good. They changed that. But that's also something you want to look into depending on what you're doing with your frame. If you don't know what you're doing and you just want to have numbers to go big and tank a bunch of damage, all of these four are your keys to being average tank, right? Maxing them out is the best thing you can do if you don't have them and you don't have them maxed out and you think you need to be tanky, okay? I don't recommend that. I recommend you figure out how to play the game, but this is how you tank damage. This is how you make it where you soak up more damage, right? Movement is key, but soaking up damage is important if you don't know what you're doing, and that's fine. That's okay. Flow is energy maximum. This is how much energy you have for your abilities. As a new player, I don't anticipate most of you will be using your abilities very often, and that's okay. You'll learn what to do with them and how to use them. But this is how you be able to use them more. It gives you a more max. That doesn't mean you start with more, but it means you have more, right? Equilibrium is something that I would recommend every frame have just about in almost every situation. This is a mod that you probably will have to hunt for. I don't believe I've had copies of it very often. If I do, I do have a copy. But anyway, so I would suggest finding an equilibrium. It's a very good mod. It lets you pick up health orbs that give you energy, and energy orbs give you health. It's just generally useful. I will show you a trick, by the way, at the end that pertains to companions, and I highly recommend you do this because it's very useful. So intensify is ability strength. That just means how strong your ability does, more damage, etc., etc. Things like that. Just basic stuff like that. Efficiency is how much energy an ability uses to damage to activate, right? So if drain is now at 17, if I remove this for my first ability, drain is at 17.5. If I remove this, it goes up to 25 energy. That doesn't sound like a lot to you right now. That is a lot of energy, right? Being able to cut that down to almost half is great, okay? And then stretch is ability range. It's how far your ability will attack a target or whatever. The range of bubbles usually and stuff like that, right? There's a couple others that I will have to talk about. There is continuity, which is how long your ability will last or be activated for to a degree. Some abilities are based on how much energy you're expending, and then you want efficiency, but that's a bit advanced, so we'll just keep this basic. Ability duration is how long your ability will last on the field when you put it down. I'm not sure if I have This one is buff duration, 3 to 8 seconds. If I were to add continuity instead, it goes up to 3 to 9.5 seconds, right? That's what it does. This isn't a good build, by the way, but this is just to showcase, you know, what you can and can't do, right? We're gonna move on to the primary weapons. I talked a bit about it, but here's like, if your primary weapon doesn't have all of these mods on it, except for like Hellfire, I don't, like, you've messed up somewhere, okay? That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you've messed up somewhere, right? Split chambers for multi-shot. You always want multi-shot. I don't know where you find it. It's a difficult mod to find if I remember right, but once you have it, you'll love it. Trading for it is possible. I think everyone's got a split chamber somewhere, you know what I mean? So you might be able to find a trader, you know. Serration is a very common mod. I think you're given it, but I don't know for sure. Keep it. It is the best mod in the game. This mod goes on every single weapon you use, period, right? Having multiples at different levels might be a good idea if you really want to, but this is the one you want, right? You want this mod. This mod is so important. Speed trigger. This is fire rate. You don't always want this. Sometimes you do. I would if you don't know what you're doing, grab it. There's no harm in it, right? For auto weapons, it's better, I believe. For bows, it's 2 times draw time for your bow, which is good. Get it, right? You want it. Magazine warp. This is how long you can shoot. You know, it's your magazine of the gun, right? That's what it does. It gives you more. This also doesn't go on everything. I don't think higher tier players use this very often unless it's a very big magazine already, because it's 30%. And if you have something like 200 rounds and you add 30% to it, let me tell you, you're going to go up a lot, right? Vigilante armaments is more multi-shot. You don't have to have both of these, okay? Split chamber and vigilante arms. Vigilante arms is found on the, I believe I spoke about it before, but it's found on Earth, on the free roam area. You can get it doing the higher, tougher missions, but you do have to be able to do the tougher missions. You can probably have someone run you through it. It's a random drop in the pool, and it's not very hard to get. I got it in like a couple of days, like in a day or so. You know what I mean? Like, of casual, because I'm not very grindy. I'm very casual, right? Hellfire is like all the different damage types like this. You want to pick them up if you can find them. If you hunt them down, absolutely do it, right? They are super useful. You want it for all. There's 4 of each for every weapon, primary, secondary, and melee. Okay, and then it goes for all of the different weapons in the game. Which there are some other stuff. I will talk about some other more complicated stuff, but it's not going to get too complicated, right? Ammo drum is the ammo maximum. How much ammo you have with your gun, right? So not the number in the gun, the number out of the gun that you have extra. And this matters for most guns, except for something like the Fulmin or the Gamma Core, because they have unlimited ammo for reasons that I won't go into right now. Speed Trigger and Shred are very good mods. I would recommend trying to pick up a Shred if you can, but, you know, it's a rare mod. I'm not, you know, it's fine. There is Point Strike for critical chance. You want to get that if you can. Where's the other one? Give me a moment, guys. I'm brain. Vital Sense. Critical damage. Also very important. You want to pick that up if you can. I don't know where you get them, but I have 2 Vital Sense and probably 3. Like, it's not that bad, right? I don't know where I got this. I was probably doing some high level stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And that's the basics of what you want to have for your basic gun, right? If you absolutely can, you want to give it an Orokin Catalyst. However, those cost money, and that's okay. You don't need to. We'll go secondary. I don't like this gun, but, you know, these are the bare essentials for secondaries. I believe I spoke Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion. You want those. Barrel Diffusion is really tough to pick up. I didn't have it for a long time, and I finally went out of my way to get it. I don't remember how I got it. It's been months since I got it, and I've never regretted it. Get it as soon as you can. Highly recommend. Gunslinger is fire rate. You always want fire rate. Fire rate's great, right? Especially on a pistol. Typically, players, advanced players will say a pistol is used as a status weapon, quote unquote. That means that you would be stacking these different things for various effects. to slap into an enemy that you don't like particularly, that is particularly weak to this weapon, right? To this type of damage. Is there 5? No, I have 2 deep freezes. Okay. I don't necessarily believe that. I think you should play how you want to play, but at super high level play, that's something you should consider. At low level play, your secondary is there if you feel like using a secondary and to level up, okay? Secondary is a little bit harder to level up because you have to do damage. I'm going to talk about that later. Anyway, pistol gambit for critical chance, slip mag for magazine size. You don't care about steady hands. I don't know why I have that. Stunning speed is something I would recommend you pick up very soon because it is very good. Reload speed and status chance, very good. Target cracker for the critical damage. And then quick draw for reload speed if you want to. You do what you want to do. Suppress is used for suppressing your weapon, and you do want to consider hush and suppress. Hush is for the primary. And here, I'll show you what it looks like real quick. It's also a 5 if I remember right. Yeah, here's hush. The most important part about hush and the other one is there are weapons with integrated suppressors. To tell if a weapon is silenced, look at this noise. If it's silenced, you can pretty much do whatever you want with that gun and no one will notice unless you hit them and don't kill them instantly, okay? The best stealth is killing everyone. So, do with that what you will. And then we'll do secondaries. Okay, so I managed to pick up a dark sword, and I don't know why it's got 70 capacity, but it does, so shrug. Oh, because I have this. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this fully. Alright, so one thing I missed that was very important for melee weapons that most people, that I didn't know until much recently, right, is that you have these things called stances. You don't get this by default. You have to find it. Some weapons have good and bad stances. Typically, you want every weapon stance that you can get your hands on as fast as possible, right? You want a stance on your weapon mostly because the stance increases your capacity, so you can put more mods, right? That's the most important part about that, okay? They changed the way the weapon functions to a degree. I've had it do a couple of funky stuff. I won't go into more detail about that, but it is pretty neat. The stances are really neato, and I suggest hunting them down if you get the chance. But that is, some of them are really high, really low drop rates and very hard to find, okay? So keep that in mind. Pressure point's important, melee damage, raw damage. Fury is attack speed, which is very important on melee weapons. Organ shatter is critical damage, which is important because it's only important on weapons that have high critical chance or high critical damage. Reach is the range of your weapon. I always put it on everything, but I never notice it. The only thing I've ever noticed it on is the glaive, which is a thrown weapon for melee, and one that I recommend, but also will say that people don't recommend it. So, keep that in mind. True Steel is critical chance. 2 times for heavies. Don't worry about that. Heavies, honestly, you'll have to learn that on your own because I don't know anything about heavy damage or heavy attacks, so shrug. The different damage types, Fear Strike and so on. Melee prowess, status chance. This weapon's actually really good with status. I've actually managed to hit 100% status because of Canis Mandible, which is also, I don't know where you pick it up, but it's one of the free roam areas. I think you can pick it up on Earth, but I don't know. I farmed both. I've farmed all 3 of the free roam areas of Earth, Venus, maybe, and Deimos. And that's, if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It's fine. Have a friend take you there without, spoilers or something, just have fun, right? And then here's a different types of critical chance stacks with combo multiplier. There's a bunch of advanced stuff. Don't worry about it too much. Rending Strike is something you should definitely look into getting, though. It's really neato. It just, doubles your damage just about. It's really neat. So the fact I've got fucking 4 Canis Mandibles should tell you exactly how easy it is to obtain them, but I do recommend them if you can pick it up. There should be, I was looking for, it's okay. So that's the important things about swords, okay? now we're going to talk about the trick I was talking about. Okay, this is a neato trick. If you have synth fiber, this ability, I believe, health orbs increase armor for companions by 100% for 12 seconds. This resets every time you use it. What this does is it lets you pick up health orbs when you're at max health. The reason this is important is because if you do not have this, you cannot pick up health orbs at max health, right? The reason for that is you're at max health, obviously. But the reason you want this is if you have equilibrium in this mod, you will never run out of energy. Virtually forever energy, right? Health orbs are energy, energy orbs are energy. You'll have energy forever, and that means you live forever. And so that's something that I would highly recommend you figure out and pick up. I don't remember how I got my synth fiber. I don't think it was that easy. Or it might have been easy, or I don't know. Vacuum is what you want for all your companions if you can put it on. And then I don't have any particular build for my companion. I just gave it some of the stuff that I've given it so it lasts longer and stuff. This is the Nautilus, so it gets to do things for ships and stuff, and if you don't know, you don't know, that's okay. But there, you don't pick up mods for companions very often, so just do whatever you want. Just find the synth fiber. I highly recommend you getting that. You can also do shield charger, which is useful as well. I would highly recommend you pick that up. If you feel squishy. Okay, we're going to talk about some advanced stuff. This might have some spoilers. Well, no. I won't be talking about spoilers, but these are things you obtain later in the game. And so, take with that what you will, right? And we will be going to ships as well. If you feel like if you feel like any of this is a spoiler, you can, this is as far as you need to go, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to be talking about anything story-wise. And there is a story, and it's a very good story. So we have the Arcwing. I highly recommend figuring out if you want to play Arcwings or not right away, okay? The Arcwing is virtually unusable when you don't have high levels or anything. You need to get a special launcher to shoot it in the free roam area. And then it's a very specific mission type that you never really encounter outside of Arcwing missions. So you can totally skip this as far as content is concerned. You know what I mean? The important things about it is that it's basically just an extra Warframe, but not as fleshed out. Like, if you notice, I don't have anything for this. I have very few mods and stuff for this frame, right? In fact, I don't have a single one of these other mods. But yeah, so you farm it, you don't. You know what I mean? They are important for the newer content that involves ships. So you can actually get out of the ship and fly in your Arcwing, and that's why you would want to farm this, right? But you don't have to. You don't have to do any of that, okay? So, to be fair. I went with the Phaedra, but I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how it's basically the same thing, magazine capacity, critical chance, critical damage, impact, fire rate, damage, rubidoline barrel, toxin, cold. Just keep stacking damage numbers, right? That's the dumbest way that I can say it, and it's correct for these things because you saw how many mods I have. You see how many mods I have? I don't have a lot of. There's not very many mods for these. And the same thing for the melee weapon. It's a melee weapon. It follows the same principle of number hurt, right? You've got the Void Rig. This is very late stage. I don't think most of you will be encountering it unless you purchase it. I don't think you need a launcher for it, but don't quote me on that. You can purchase it in the store. This is the Void Rig. This is the default Void Rig. It's just got an appearance mod because I liked the way this looked. It looked really cool. Beyond that, it's got a lot more spaces for mods, but not that many. Like I had to buy these mods. These mods were purchased, okay? Like they were purchased with, I think they came with the Void Rig. I don't remember, right? And then I'm currently planning to level up my Imperator, but don't worry about that. And then this is the... It's weapons. Primary weapons, you know what I mean? Like, primary weapons. No, go away. Primary weapon. You're not primary, it's, you know, Arcwing weapons. So it needs arc gun mods, right? And, there are specific mods, like, if I were to be using, this one, then I'd have these mods instead, which still gets synth fiber. I will say, fetch is what you want to pick up, by the way. I will say, if you need a companion that doesn't die and you're encountering content where your companion keeps dying, you want to figure out how to get this without spoilers, or do the content and have fun with this and get one of these. These guys revive themselves, and that's what makes them so useful. I have the Nautilus because Varuna is one of the frames that I use for this last bit of what's it called? Content. And so there is, you know, all this. I don't have any specific plan for these. There's a lot going on here, and I'm still confused, okay? So if that makes you feel any better about this, there's a lot going on here, and I still don't know what's happening. So take with that what you will. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little, you know, Bear Essentials Part 2. And I hope you guys will keep an eye out for any other... I might do more Warframe content later. I don't know why I'm speaking so weird. I'm not a high mastery. Oh, I do want to talk about this actually real quick, before I forget, absolutely. Like, holy shit, I forgot. So, one thing left. The other thing. So, you can't hold infinite weapons. It's dumb, I know, don't worry about it. Right? So, what you want to do is find weapons that you like, right? You know, weapons that you'll play a lot of. But then you also want to find weapons that you don't care about and level them up and then throw them away, right? What are weapons that I know I've already gotten? Does it tell you? I don't think I actually had a Tiburon before. I know there's one. Hold on. I know there's one. Let me find it real quick. I gotta think. Brain slow. Give me a minute. It should tell you if you've mastered it, but I don't know. I've mastered this. It doesn't tell you. Okay. You want to mastery all the things you can, because you want to level up to level 30, all the things you can, and you want to keep switching. I've grabbed a couple of frames that I don't care about and mastered. But there is a max number of frames you can carry. You have. If you purchase a frame, I think it comes with a frame slot, but I don't know for sure. So if you want to level up your mastery rank, this number here, to be able to have access to more stuff, you have to level up the things. And the best way to level things up, in my opinion, is Sanctuary Onslaught. The level 20 to 30 or whatever. Just go and do it. If you do it open game, there'll be people who will sit there and farm you through it. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to be trash. It's fine. Just, you know, it lets you get used to playing the game, moving around. I don't know how long it takes you to access it. I don't know any of that information, but if you can access it, access Sanctuary Onslaught and use that for leveling up. Only Warframe bits. If you want to level up your Void Rig and other stuff, you have to figure that out on your own. I don't actually know. I've figured out some stuff for Arcwing, and it's just farming the same mission over and over again. So take with that what you will. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys will check me out next time and all that fun stuff. Goodbye, good night.